What's going on, everybody? This is Rolling Code here, bringing you a new Magic ManaStrike video. Today we're going to be doing a deck tech with Angrath. He is the only red-black planeswalker currently in the game, and he is a pretty good melee tank planeswalker with a special ability that makes him go crazy in ManaStrike. So let's take a look at Angrath's stats before we jump into the deck. So he has 2,500 HP, about 450 attack, and his main ability is that in ManaStrike he becomes crazed. He gets an increase in attack speed and movement speed. So he starts out with a slow movement speed and with a 1.7 second attack speed. Once he transforms, his movement speed goes up to medium, and his attack speed goes down to 0.8 seconds. So he actually slaps real quick. His skill, Angrath's Rampage, throws out his whip in front of him in a straight line, does damage and stuns. The damage from his skill is the same as his attack at 450. And if you haven't seen it, we'll take a quick look at the preview here. So he swings a little slowly at first, but once his ability kicks in, he starts swinging real quick. So he can do a lot of damage if you get him right on the tower, and he can really churn through a lot of people. And you see his whip goes pretty far in front as well. Sometimes you can swing all the way through, hit things that are behind him, or get that extra lick on the tower just to get the damage when you need it. For our deck, we're looking at a 2.9 average mana cost, so pretty low. We've got a couple building damage attackers, a couple of area of effect defensive tools, and a couple of the cards here that I'm going to talk about and try to focus on is the new cards that were buffed as part, well, they're not new cards, but cards that were buffed in black as part of this latest update. I'll also mention one of the new cards, Una, because she is something that can also slot into this style of deck in place of the Accursed Spirit. So just looking through what we've got Hellrider. Hellrider's everybody's favorite red building attacker, always solid, area of effect stun when it jumps in for the first hit. Only attacks buildings, so it's a very strong way that we get a lot of our damage throughout the game and to help us close out. Now we've got Circle of Pain. This is a black spell, 4 cost, lasts for 8 seconds, and will deal 100 damage each second to creatures or 51 damage to buildings at level 8. This is one of our key tools that we use against swarm-style decks like Sorin, Calyx, great against Soul Sanctifier, against Gluttonous Slime, against Sorin's Revives. Gives us a lot of ability to take them out real quickly when there's a big scary push coming, or just to slow down and soften up some other cards as they're coming in. Really effective, great choice in this current season. If you're black, don't leave home without it. Next up, we've got Skull Catapult. So this card was nerfed in the last previous update to 4 cost, and it saw almost no play. It was originally a 3 cost, and so they brought it back down there to encourage us to start using it again. And I can tell you, it is a solid card. It's not as overpowered as it was before, but it is still very strong. The main thing to know about Skull Catapult is that whenever it launches a shot, it will also drop a skeleton. This allows it, kind of depending on what it's fighting, to kind of constantly distract them. And when you're using it, it's really important to have a tank or some other kind of distraction so that it can get that first volley off, and so it can keep firing without taking damage, because it does degrade pretty quickly. It only has a 30-second lifespan versus something like Vent Sentinel, which is the red building, lasts 40 seconds, same amount of HP, but it has a high damage. It can take out small swarms. It can take out big units if you give it enough time. So it is a pretty strong card. A lot more fair than it was in the past, though. It will also trade with a ninja, 1-for-1. It's pretty good against Messenger, though I don't think it'll last all the way through to the second form. And that is the next card we're going to talk about, Geralf's Messenger. This is another building attacker, black card. So what the Messenger does is that it will just kind of constantly walk towards the building, and then the first form isn't really what's important. The second form, when it revives, gets a huge buff to its attack. At level 8, it hits for over 700 damage. That's the form that you really want to protect, and you want to make sure that it can get a hit in. So the first form, you want to get it as close to the tower as possible. Second form, let it get as many swipes as it can, because that's where it does the big damage. Basically, it makes the opponent use 2 cards to take care of it usually, which is always great. Next up, rounding out the deck, Fire Shrine Keeper, everybody's favorite red tank. I don't think there's a red deck that doesn't play this. It's just really efficient for its cost. AoE damage when it's being hit, knockback effect on death. Don't leave home without it, honestly. Finally, we have Hedron Scouts as our one-cost cycler. This one is, everybody knows what it does. It's got good attack, good for defending against ninjas and against Hell Riders, other things. It is pretty much common in a lot of these decks as a cycler, though it is possible that you may replace it with something like Drudge Skeleton, which you can cycle for 1 and create 2 bodies. These guys are a little tankier. I've considered it, but I haven't tried it yet. I'm trying to get them up to level 8 before I slot them in. But could be a solid swap for Scouts to try it out. And sorry, that's not final. The last one in our card boost slot right now is the Accursed Spirit. This card was buffed in the recent patch. Again, previously it was a 2-cost, got nerfed to a 3-cost, and really didn't have anything else changed, so it wasn't very playable at that level. But now they've given it an HP buff, they've given it an attack buff, and they've tweaked the death effect so that it is now 2 seconds instead of 4 seconds, decreased movement speed, decreased attack speed, and it is now area of effect rather than a single target, and it will hit the furthest enemy in sight. It has some interesting effects. I think it's a nice change, a good way to kind of play with the card. The main thing about him that changed that I want to call out is his HP is now out of Ratchet Bomb range from the same level. He will not die to a single Ratchet Bomb. In this deck, Accursed Spirit is our main anti-air. He has a very quick attack speed at 1.2 seconds, so he dishes out a lot of damage, and as you can see, none of our other units hit air. The only thing is the spell Circle of Pain, which can deal with air units, so in those cases, we really need to rely on our spirit to get the job done. I did mention one of the new cards that they released recently in the hybrid set is Una, Queen of the Fae. You could have play her instead of Accursed Spirit because she has a similar function. If we look in the deck itself, we know boosting her to level 9, she has the same attack, but her attack speed's a little slower, so she doesn't deal quite as much damage as Accursed Spirit. But what she does get is that she has the ability to summon fairies. Her fairies are probably, pretty weak overall, but they are mainly distractions. So every couple of seconds, she'll summon a fairy. Two fairies, actually. They start behind her, will eventually get out in front of her. It's a good way to distract other things. But, they do a bit of damage, not a ton. So it's good to don't rely on it to kill anything. Just rely on it to keep her alive. One thing to note, though, Una is not outside of Ratchet Bomb range. So she will die to a Ratchet Bomb, like Blinding Mage and other weaker creatures. And she's not a flying card. Despite being Queen of the Fairies, Una is a ground movement type. She moves pretty slow, so it's great to drop her in the back, let her spawn as many fairies as possible, and help support a push. All right, so that's the deck. We're going to take a look at 2 games today. First game is going to be against Sorin. Second game is going to be against Teferi. And we're going to see in those games is how Accursed Spirit is your main anti-air unit. And then we're going to see a great example of how Skull Catapult can be used on defense. So we'll see you in game. All right, in this match, we're going to go up against Sorin. Sorin is pretty common in this meta, usually plays a swarm style. This one is actually playing a Reaver Demon build, so this match is going to revolve around controlling that Reaver Demon. This Angrath deck doesn't have a lot to stop air. We're relying on our Accursed Spirit quite a bit and our Circle of Pain. So see things get started off. Our Hell Rider gets taken out by a Doomblade. That nets him 1 mana. So we're just going to kind of cycle forward, see what happens next. The core comes in. We're going to place a messenger just to distract him. Not the best way to stop a core, but it doesn't let any damage get on our tower. We see here's the first demon coming in. Catapult build probably wasn't the best idea. It's more of a defense against ground in case he comes in with a swarm, but we'll see. This is a Sorin Air Force coming in, so we'll set up the Circle of Pain. We'll get our Accursed Spirit down. And he's actually going to drop a Circle of Pain to try to counter our Spirit. And we're going to get enough time in there, enough to take out his demon, even the revived copy of it. And then we'll just have Sorin go down, save our Angrath for later. We're going to need him in ManaStrike. Not too much here, just kind of lull between the action. We'll get another Hell Rider, and he's going to Doomblade it again. And we're not actually going to be able to get our messenger in on the tower, so that's no damage yet. He spawns a new demon. We'll wait for that to come in. We've got another spirit lined up, ready to go. So he sets the revive on it. That's kind of his game plan, is get Sorin revive on the Reaver demon, and that gives him an extra little one, because once it dies, all the attention goes away from it, and then it has a chance to deal some more damage while the tower is distracted or something else is. We can see here he actually got all the way through my tower, but low enough life total that we're able to just finish it off with that Accursed Spirit. Accursed Spirit's got some really great DPS, especially with the bit damage buff plus the HP buff. It makes it a really good choice in the meta right now. See Angrath versus Sorin here. We're able to actually take him out before ManaStrike. Then we get the little speed boost to get in on the tower, but can't even make it. You drop some scouts to get a little bit of chip. Our Accursed Spirit again. We'll watch him do some work here, and he's going to protect our messenger to get some work up top. Down on the bottom tower, we get Angrath in close. We're able to clear out his Sorin. And then once Angrath goes to work, he's just like Nahiri. He will cut through that tower. So it's good. We just evened it up. Now he's going to actually just distract, keep that Reaver demon busy, because we're going to have to get ready when it comes back across. And now he's going to have 2 Reaver demons that we're going to have to deal with. So let's soften him up a little bit, slow things down, get his buff from Honor of the Pure. So he actually did Doomblade our Accursed Spirit. So this ain't good at all, but we've got enough things down there to distract his demons. Another circle, and weaken them even more. Just keep kiting them. That's all we can do right now, is just kite them until we can get another Accursed Spirit down. We're going to use that. It's actually going to defend the top lane more. Again, kite with the messenger. A lot of distraction. That's all we can do against a lot of these guys. Our Angrath didn't quite make it all the way in. Our messenger doesn't really matter that he's on the main tower. What does matter is our circle takes out the demon, and now we're just going to go final push up here, try and finish off this tower. I think that was his mistake. He cored my Angrath in. That got me right on the tower, and then just like that, just like Nahiri through butter, cut that tower down. So that was a good game. A good example of how we take out Sorin. Not a swarm style, but a Reaver demon style. So we'll see you in the next game. Alright, in this matchup we're going up against Teferi. I think this player usually mains Jace, but he's very high ranked, 3200. This is going to be a tough matchup for us. What we're going to need to do is use Skull Catapult for maximum value. Skull Catapult has the ability to just keep churning out damage, but it needs to be protected. If you just place it on its own, it's going to die. It's actually not that great. It blocks a ninja, but it'll trade with it effectively. So it's not actually going to be that great against it, but 3 for 3 mana, not too bad. Get our Hell Rider in at the bottom. I think we were lucky he didn't have his core up first. Our Accursed Spirit's going to try and get some damage in down here. His debuff, you're actually going to see, applies pretty well. It's actually going to go down to the bottom, which is going to be helpful for us as we use a circle to stop the bottom assault. It's still going to get a lot of damage on us, but at the top you see our Skull Catapult keeps doing work. Oh, there's a nice lineup for the Angrath's whip. Stun them all down. We'll just keep the catapult going. If we can just keep that catapult, we'll just keep dropping those bombs, keep getting the little skeletons to distract them, and we can see, no, they didn't get any damage on our top tower. So that was a really successful defense, all on the back of that catapult. We did sustain some damage on our lower tower, but we're just going to keep pushing for damage on the one we've already injured. And luckily, again, no core. So our Hell Rider gets all the way in on the building for some serious damage. You see, that's going to matter later when we're trying to come back. Here we've got to cycle through our messenger. We need to get back to our catapult. We're going to drop that catapult and put some scouts to distract so that it doesn't get taken out quickly. Luckily, that was almost perfect timing. He does get his pummeler down. He starts smacking our building, and Angrath gets a good stun. He didn't get the pummeler, unfortunately, but we're just going to keep in here, and he's actually going to clear us out. He's going to get a lot of damage on our tower. We're going to get our Circle of Pain. We're going to try and block as much as we can. We're actually just barely going to survive on that tower. So that's going to be, we know he's going to be pushing that top tower, so we're going to have to do everything we can to stop it. Ninja is going to have to be blocked with our catapult, so we're not going to have catapult down on the bottom. We're going to have to save that mana. Instead, we'll once again drop our messenger, and it's actually a distraction. He's got his Triton that gets dropped there, and we're just going to go down on the bottom. Get Angrath going. He drops a soul. We'll pass Hellrider behind it, get in on the tower, and stunning that Teferi was really clutch. Get a Circle of Pain down, get some more damage. We need to just get as much damage as possible on that tower. Our messenger gets right up close. We block the ninja with our catapult. We'll see that distracts the Triton. And then he's going to start coming in with his guys. And we're just going to have to hopefully survive this last push and get the catapult again. Just perfect timing on that. And our messenger gets in. One hit. Good. So now we've got the circle down. We just got to survive for the last 8 seconds. Get Angrath, kill out that ninja, drop another catapult down on the bottom. We got to hold on to 1, 0. Nice. That was a super tight match. You can see Teferi is really tough, but with some good catapult usage, even you can take him down as Angrath.